Hello everybody, welcome back. This is going to be part 6 of the video series where I model this revolver. In the last episode we did the trigger guard trigger. I showed you how to model the barrel and this plunger right here. What we're going to do in this episode is we're going to focus on the cylinder and we're going to make it look more like a cylinder that you'd find in a revolver. So let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is turn on screencast keys. And let's take a peek at this. We're not going to really follow the reference. Well, we might put in these little grooves right here. But for the most part, I think we're just going to freehand it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate it, bring it out on the X, and then just focus on this one right here. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's take a peek at another little reference so that we can sort of see what we are doing. So we have a hole that's going to go right through the center. So let's set our origin to geometry. Can't tell if that's dead center on that. Okay, it is. Let's set our cursor to selected and let's go ahead and bring in a circle. RY90. No, that's not the right way. RX90. That's what we wanted. Let's scale her down and let's bring her out. And we're just going to keep scaling it in. Yeah, this hole looks to be about, I'd actually say that's probably a good size for it. Alright, so what we want to actually do is we're going to want to put like a lip on this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it from this view. And I bring it back, oh, probably about like that. And then, let's see here. Let's actually just extrude it all the way through, because we need to actually punch a hole in this. So let's go like that, Alt-N, recalculate outside. We'll slap a face right here, and we will slap a face right here. And we're just going to use a Boolean to cut a hole in the center of this cylinder. So generate Boolean. We'll select this cylinder. And we could probably go into, okay, that's fine. Wireframe, just kind of see how it is. I think that's good enough. Let's go ahead and apply that. Now what we want to do is we want to punch a hole through this. So we're going to go into edit mode, select this edge. Let's go ahead and let's just merge everything by distance on this, just in case. And we'll do the same thing with this. And then we will apply rotation and scale, and apply rotation and scale on that. Let's select this outside edge and press I to inset it just a tad. Just about like that. And then we're not going to do that. We're going to extrude it all the way back. But let's look at it from the side with X-ray vision on. And we'll go like that. Press 3. Press 3, we'll delete that face. And we'll turn X-ray vision off. And we will delete this face. And we'll select this edge right here. And we want to make sure that that edge perfectly lines up with this edge. So we'll just drag it out and snap it. And then we're going to select both these edges, if I can grab them. And we're going to right click and bridge edge loops. Ooh, that's not exactly what we wanted. I fast forwarded through this section because it's just me messing around trying to figure out how to make this work. Ultimately, I inset the edges, deleted the extra face, and then deleted all the extra vertices. And that leaves us with this. Now that we have that, so we have some shading errors here. So let's go in and see if we can't fix those shading errors real quick with just a simple mark sharp. And then we will mark sharp on this as well. Didn't really do much. Let's try a weighted normal, and that fixed it right up. Okay, but well, we still have that, don't we? For the time being, we're not going to worry about it because we're going to cut a hole in this anyways. So we're going to go back to here. We're going to dissolve. Well, I guess we can't dissolve those because we kind of need them, huh? We should probably mark sharp here. There we go. Let's see if yeah, we won't. We'll deal with the shading afterwards. Now what we want to do is we want to bring in. Actually, let's borrow that. Let's borrow this circle right here. Control D to or Shift D to duplicate it. Z to move it up. P to break it out. And we're gonna go and we're gonna select that, and we're going to scale it until we get roughly the size we want, which is probably going to be something like that. Let me see here. Yeah, probably something like that, maybe. We may actually need to scale this up. No, that looks about the right size. Well, let's see. Let's see how this works out. We want to duplicate this. Well, actually, no. Let's mirror it. Let's try mirror. Let's make sure. Okay, so that is centered. So generate mirror on the Z. Yeah, and that works out pretty good. And so we will apply that mirror. And with both of these selected, we will duplicate it and then rotate 90. Maybe not exactly. Let's rotate it probably about like that. Duplicate it again, rotate it about like that. We have some distances we have to kind of make a little bit more even. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Now we want to take all of these and we want to Control J to join them all together. And we're going to use a Boolean once again to cut the hole through this. So we'll just go like that and select everything. We'll move it till it's about like that. And then we will put a face on all these. So select the whole thing, Alt N, recalculate outside, and we should have something like that. And so now we're going to select our cylinder, generate a Boolean, and we're going to use that. Go into X-ray, that looks fine. And then we can take that and we can hide that. And this is what we're left with, shade smooth. Oh man, so we have a bunch of junk, right? So we gotta go through and we have to apply our Boolean. We gotta fix some of this junk. And I think what I'm gonna try first is beveling these circles. Just the circles, not those. And so just Shift Alt and click. If you wind up with some extra edges, just deselect those. Shift Alt and click, Shift Alt and click. And then we're just going to continue going around. We're going to select both sides. All right, we have both sides selected. Let's just make sure we have everything. I'd missed that. Looks like we have everything. So Control B. And we're just going to use 2, and we're just going to bevel it like that. Let's look around. We got some funky stuff going on there. Just bevel it like that. And then we'll go over here and let's just look at it, make sure we didn't get any extra faces. Now we have to go and we have to do this cut that we did as well in the center because we never actually beveled that. This one's just going to be just a little bit of a bevel, something like that. And we still have our shading issues. Let's go ahead and see if we can't fix these shading issues. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try marking sharp. We'll see if that works. And I'm selecting the outside edge. Yeah, so I mean that got rid of the shading issues for us. Let's shade everything smooth. It's not terrible. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the side. And we still have a little bit of shading anomalies. So on top of the mark sharp, we could also go here, normals, weighted normal, and then that'll clean anything else that maybe the mark sharp wasn't able to get up. One more thing that I want to do is I want to throw some edge loops inside of these. Okay, so this is the cylinder, what we have thus far. One thing we forgot to do on this is bevel. So let's go ahead and select this edge, select this edge. Shift Alt and click and select these edges and give it a little bit of a bevel, not much. These are metal parts. And then I'll do the same with this. I'll take an edge loop and I'll pull it in this way. Come to this side, take an edge loop, pull it in this way. All right. So this is what we got so far. All right, so next, we need to add the sort of star-like notch that is attached to here. And what this does is it's what actually holds the cylinder in position, one of the mechanisms that holds the cylinder in position. And so I'm going to take a slight break and then we will get to that. Alrighty, so let's get to putting this little doodad on here. The first thing I think we're going to need to do is maybe extend this side out a little bit. I think we're going to need a little bit more protrusion. Probably like that. And how I'm going to try doing this is I'm just going to bring in a circle with 6 sides. And then we will rotate that 90 on the x-axis. And we'll scale it in. And we're going to move it out. We're going to look at it from orthographic view. We want it to be about like that, but then we want to rotate it. Right about that. I think that is close. All right. Now let's enter edit mode. I think we want to bring it down just a little bit until it lines up with this. And then we want to extrude it on the Y until it sits inside there. Let's add a face to that first. And let's go ahead and merge everything just in case. Extrude it on the Y until it sits in there. Now, we want to select this face. And I think the way I'm going to do this, let's see, how do I want to do that? What would happen if I just, all right, that wouldn't work. So let's just do this face. We're going to hit I to inset it. And we want to inset it until we're inside that. Yeah. And then we can delete that face. We can delete this back face. Okay. Now, how do I want to do this? I'm thinking a loop cut and bring this loop cut to about right there. And then select these edges. And then bevel these with 3 or 2. No, we'll want to do 3. And go about like that. Go into edge select and select these edges right here because we want to bring these inward like that. Oh, I missed one. Did I? Let's see here. Oh, selected the wrong ones. And we want to bring them back to about right there. And that's pretty much it as far as this little gear type deal goes. Now we want to see, how do we want to bevel these? We'll bevel these top edges first. And let's go ahead and try and bevel that. We'll just do 2. And we'll bevel it like that. And shade smooth. Obviously it's going to be a little wacky. And then we will do these inside edges next. Sure, we got them all. Now we'll do the outside edges. Oh, we're getting some, let's turn clamping on so we don't overlap anything. Did I miss some edges? Looks like I probably did, huh? The topology is kind of really bad on this. Okay, well, let's see how we would possibly go about fixing that. Let's focus just on this and see if we can't clean that up just a little bit. Okay, that looks better. A little bit better. Maybe not perfect. I think it'll do what needs to be done. Let's see if we can't bevel that just a tad. And then we will add a weighted normal onto it. Okay, I think that looks fine. I may come back later and do a little bit more cleanup on it, but for this video, it's good enough. All right, so next we got to decide if we want to put these little indents in there and how exactly we would do that. I'm thinking maybe a bevel. My apologies, not a bevel, a Boolean. Maybe a Boolean would work for that. So let's see. All right, let's go ahead and put some grooves in this thing. I think what I'm going to do is just going to duplicate that. Just kind of move it up a little bit. P to break it out. And I'm going to rotate this on the Y. Just to kind of get it like that. Let's move this forward so we can see it. And I'm thinking we will set origin to geometry. Scale in the X, scale in the Z, maybe not so much in the X. GZ, move it up. I'm thinking something like that. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Maybe move it. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Let's go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to extrude it on the Y. I guess still right about there, I suppose. I'll take this edge put a face on it. I'm also going to rotate it. Look at it from this angle. Rotate it a little bit. Oh, do I not have everything? I do not. Oh, I got an extra. There we go. I'm just going to rotate it that way, just a tad. Face right there. And what I'm going to do is I'll select this, shade smooth. Now we'll shade auto smooth. And then look at it like this. We'll duplicate it and then rotate it on the Y180. And then we'll just move it down. So it's about like that. Look at them, make sure they're somewhat. I'm looking at the gaps right here to make sure those are even. That looks fine. And so we'll go like this. We'll set the origin. Let's set the 3D cursor to here. And then we will. No, that's not what we want to do. And we'll go like that, duplicate and rotate. Let's try and get it roughly even, and then duplicate and rotate. And then we'll come back through here and we'll just slightly adjust these ones. Okay, now I want to come back to this. And I'm going to put an edge loop right there. And maybe a second one right there just for the time being. And we're going to see what a Boolean looks like. See how bad it makes it look. So generate Boolean. And we'll go like that. Let's go ahead and hide. Oh, wait a second. Let's hide this. I guess some issues here, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now, obviously, this is a duplication just for this purpose, in case I mess something up, you know what I mean? But it looks like it's probably pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean up any mess that we might have. I'm going to clear all the sharps, and then I will fast forward through this, since it's not going to be anything all that interesting. Alright, I think I have everything pretty much cleaned up. I may go through later on and do some more cleanup, make it look a little nicer, but for the purposes of this video, I think we ended up with something that looks, it looks alright. Maybe not the greatest, but it is what it is. We got the shape that we wanted. And so, yeah, now we can sort of move on to the next little portion of this. Oh, well, maybe. I did find something right here we might want to deal with. Oh, I can't tell. Oh, maybe that's just how it's supposed to be. I just want to say that needs to come in a little bit. Just a tad. For some reason it seems like it's not exactly lined up. One thing I've noticed with Booleans, one reason I've grown to not really like them, is that they tend to destroy things fairly easy. But yeah, so we have this. I may make another video. Actually, I can guarantee you guys I'll make another video sort of once I've learned a little bit more redoing this and making it a little bit more refined. But let's go ahead and move on. Next, we need to make some notches that line up with the cylinder holes that are where it's kind of like a lock that locks the cylinder in place when it rotates. So let's go ahead and let's get into that. Alright, so this is what I got for the little notch. It's pretty basic. And what I will do, actually I think I want to kind of bring this out just a tad. Down like that. Yeah, that's a little better. Alright, so I'm going to walk through how I made this. It's super simple. Let's go ahead and find the next spot that we're going to put one of these. And I just put an edge loop right there, an edge loop right there. Just kind of look at it, make sure they're somewhat centered within the circle so it lines up. And just press GG to slide it. That looks pretty good. And so now we're going to take these three faces and we're going to extrude them down. Inset them first. Eye to inset. I'm not going to worry too much about making sure they're exactly the same. Obviously we want them to be kind of close. Yeah, probably something like that. And then E to extrude, and we're just going to push it in. Tad. May have been a little bit too much. There. And go like that. And then for this bottom part right here, what I did is go press 2 for edge select. And kind of just pull it down. GG to slide it, actually, that would be easier. And just sort of pull that down, and we'll pull this one down a little bit. Oh, well, we can't, not really. So we'll just eyeball it like that. And that gives you a little bit of a ramp. And then you want to take these. So let me go back and look. Yeah. So you want to take these outside top edges all the way around. And you just want to bevel them with 3 or 2, it doesn't matter. I did 3 on the other one, so I'll stick with that. And take these inside edges and bevel those with 3. take them all the way. Nah, no, we don't. Let's do it this way. Let's do this outside edge first, this top edge. Level that. We'll do the inside. And we'll give that a slight bevel, not much, just a little bit. I don't think I actually did this on the other edges, but we'll do it on this one. We'll do a bevel right there. And that's what we come up with. But, I mean, that's the gist of it. You know, they're really simple, really easy. There's really nothing to them. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around and I'm going to continue to put them where they need to go. Alrighty, so I finished putting all the notches in. As you can see, it's not perfect, but it's okay. I'll go back and I'll improve it as I level up a little bit. But this is what we got. This is our revolver thus far. It took a lot of preparing to do this video. I wasn't sure how to do a lot of the things, but I managed to figure it out to get it working. Whether or not it was the best way to do it, the most efficient way to do it, probably not. But it worked out, and yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we are going to put the hammer on this, because a revolver needs a hammer, and once we get that done, then we just got to put this latch on, and aside from you know, some minor details here and there, this will be pretty much done, and then we can move on to texturing and Substance Painter. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.